Today on our 2015 Jeep Patriot, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Draw-Tite Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number 75712. So here's what our hitch is going to look like once we have it installed on our Patriot. The nice thing about it is it's going to be pretty well hidden. All we're going to see is that receiver tube sticking out the bottom. The cross tube is going to be concealed by the rear fascia here, so we're not going to have to worry about it sticking down really far or distracting from the looks of our Jeep. It's going to offer us a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, so it's going to have a lot of different accessories available, all the way from a ball mount, a bike rack, a cargo carrier, and many other options. Now the way we're going to mount all those accessories is going to be through the forward hole here in the receiver tube. Now it's going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip, and you'll notice that it's going to have a secondary hole towards the back. That's going to be used exclusively for the J-pin stabilization device. And the way that's going to work is we're going to take the threaded end, put it into the hitch pin just like normal, and that J part is going to come in and apply pressure to our accessory when we thread on the nut. Now this is also a locking device, so not only is it going to keep it snug inside our receiver tube, but it's also going to make sure that it's nice and secure and prevent theft. As far as the safety chain connection points go, we're going to have a loop style welded to the bottom of the receiver tube. And as you can see, we're not going to have too much trouble getting most size hooks on or off. Our hitch is going to feature a 525-pound tongue weight, and that's going to be the maximum downward force at the receiver tube. It's also going to feature a 3,500-pound gross trailer weight rating. That's the amount it can pull with everything loaded on it. Now, with those numbers in mind, keep in mind that you always want to double check your vehicle's owner's manual, and you don't want to exceed the manufacturer's recommended weight. I'd like to give a few measurements, and that's going to help you when deciding for accessories for your new hitch, such as a ball mount, bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper, it's going to be right about 5 inches. Now, the measurement's going to come in handy whenever you're looking at folding accessories to make sure that you have adequate clearance before that accessory is going to come in contact with the bumper. And from the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be right about 14 1/4 inches. Now that measurement's going to come in handy whenever you're looking for a ball mount to find the appropriate rise or drop to match your trailer. Now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get it installed. To begin our installation, we're going to need to lower down our canister, which is going to be on the driver's side at the very back. Now we're going to have 2 bolts holding it in place, one at the very rear, and then one that's towards the front holding the canister in. I'm going to be using a 10mm socket to pull those nuts out. Then we can just gently pull down to get it off the studs, so we have a little bit more room in between the frame here. Now we're also going to need to lower our exhaust down, but before we do, I'm going to put a strap that's going to make sure that our exhaust is going to be supported and it doesn't hang down too far. Just want to find something solid to hook onto, and then we'll have 2 exhaust hangers, one right by the tailpipe here, and then another one on the other side. I'm just going to take a little bit of spray lubricant and spray the hanger down and make it a little bit easier for those hangers to come off the rubber isolator. Just take a pry bar, and the main goal here is just to get that rubber isolator off the hanger, so you may have to go around trying to find the right angle. Once the hangers are loose, we're going to lower that strap down just a little bit so we can get some room, make it a little bit easier to get our hitch in place. Now on either side of our Jeep, we're going to have 2 holes that are towards the very back of our frame rail going through the side. These are going to be our mounting points for our hitch, so we're going to dry fit our hitch in and align the holes, because we are going to have to do some minor trimming of the bottom of the fascia. Before we put our hitch up, we're going to need to remove these push pin fasteners at the very edge of our fascia. So we just take a screwdriver or a trim panel tool. You're going to want to come around the outer section of that centerpiece. Just kind of work it out, and that'll unlock the push pin, and then we can remove the rest of it. Now we're going to have a total of 4 of them on the back of our fascia here. So with an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch into position. You will need to pull on the bottom of that plastic to get behind there. And we're going to use our hitch as a reference point to figure out how much we're going to need to trim. So I'm just going to go to the very outside edge of my hitch, make a mark, and go to the other side, and make a mark. Now we can go ahead and lower our hitch back down. Our instructions are going to give us a rough guide of how much we need to trim. And it is going to match up pretty well with what we test fitted. And we're going to want to cut the center section of this out. I'm going to be using a rotary tool so I can have some nice, clean, straight cuts. You can use a pair of tin snips or a razor knife since it is just going into the plastic. You just want to take your time and make sure you get a nice, clean cut though. And clean up all the excess plastic. We always come back with some rubbing alcohol and get rid of the excess paint that we made with our marker. Now on each side of our frame are 2 mounting points. We're going to take our hardware, we're going to take the long 5/8 bolts, and we're going to put them in the frame. But before we put our hitch up, we just want to make sure that they're inside the frame and they're not sticking out through the hole, because it'll prevent us from getting our hitch in place. So you just want to put them in so that they're ready for us, coming from the outside going in, and our hitch will slide in place. We can reach up and just tap the bolts in. Now with the help of an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch up. And again, just kind of want to pull on that plastic to get the hitch into position. We're going to line up the hitch with the mounting holes in the side and push our bolts through so it'll support the hitch and we don't have to worry about it falling down. When we go to secure a hitch, we're going to take a conical tooth washer. We're going to place it over the forwardmost bolt on each side, and then we'll secure it with a 5/8 nut. Now for the rear hole, we're going to take a 5/8 lock washer, slide it over the bolt, and secure it with another 5/8 nut. And we'll do that for both sides. So I'm going to come back with a 22mm socket to go on the bolt on the outside. I'm going to hold the nut on the inside with a 7/8 wrench. And I'm going to torque this down to the specified amount in the instructions. With the hitch torqued down, we can raise our exhaust back up. And we'll slide the rubber isolator back onto the hanger. We can remove the strap. And then we can put our canister back in position as well. And finally, we can put our push pins back in on the bottom of our fascia. Now, we did use the measurement in our instructions as a reference, but we did have to trim quite a bit more going up, where we came out to be about 3 3/4 inches rather than that initial 2 that they put in the instructions. And that'll finish up your look at the Draw-Tite Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number 75712 on our 2015 Jeep Patriot.